Welcome to my commentary tutorial for Mercs for the Sega Genesis. This is the original mode on normal difficulty. And this is basically like a survival type of mode where you have to, you only have one of each character. You'll unlock more characters as you play through this mode. Each level you'll usually unlock a new character. And if that character dies, he's gone for good. But there is an item you can use to revive the character, but it's very expensive. So it's not worth, losing any of your main characters. And yeah, for my strategy, I'll explain the strategy that I ended up going with. It's pretty much this blue rifle guy right here with the blue fire. He's the one that I use as my main character for the entire game. So if he dies, I'm pretty much fucked unless I can survive long enough to get a revival item, but I never got to that point. I never let this character die. So there you see I get those boots. That'll make your character faster, and these are permanent upgrades. So any upgrades you get in this mode, you get permanently. So for that specific character, you'll see that there's these little blocks that fill up for speed, weapon power, and things like that, and those are permanent upgrades. So a lot of times it's good to pause the game and go into the menu and just take your time and get the upgrades you want to get for each character. But I don't really bother upgrading any of the other characters except for this guy, and there's a laser guy I get a little bit later. And the laser guy is great for bosses because he does major damage with his laser. It's a slow weapon, so it's not good for regular combat, but it's great for bosses. So for this part, I just kind of sloppily plow through. There's an area where you can stand. I played that really sloppy, but there's an area where you can stand and not get hit. But I only found it once, so that was a really sloppy playthrough. But it's good enough because I can get my life back, so I wasn't too concerned about that. I also stockpile a shitload of bombs for the end of the game to make things easier. And I recommend saving your bombs and not using them unless you really need them, because you can have pretty much an unlimited amount. Well, depending on how many you can find and buy, there is a limited amount. Here I just skip this guy and go right into the tent. And the tents are the stores, and you also see I gained a new character called Burner. He's a flamethrower guy. I don't like him, but he's actually useful in my strategy for when I need to collect food to heal my main characters. But that's what I use the other guys for. I don't really use them for much fighting. And here I just got some of my health back. Got most of my health back from my main character. Which, most of my upgrades are going to focus on upgrading this guy and the laser guy. Then once I get those two guys upgraded, I'll put some upgrades into like some of the other characters just for the hell of it. But, probably not really needed because I don't really use them. This is a great mode, though. It's twice as long as the arcade mode with unique levels, unique bosses, mostly, and some unique enemies and weapons. So it's very cool, and it's like a survival type of mode, which is very interesting. Whereas in the arcade mode, you have limited credits. In this, you just have the characters that you earn, and if one of them dies, he's permanently dead. Unless you get the revival item, but like I said, it's kind of expensive. The medals, you also want to collect those medals because that's your currency for the shops. You can buy first aid, you can buy bombs, and various permanent upgrades. So you want to collect those medals when you can. You'll see I don't go extremely out of my way to explore everything, but I do try to take the level slowly and move to the left and right and explore everything, because if you accidentally scroll the screen too far, the game does not let you go back and get a box, even if you see it on screen. If you're a little bit too far up, you can't collect it. So sometimes you just want to scroll, when you don't know where things are, you want to scroll the screen slowly to check where everything is. It's just a good habit to get into. Until you actually know where everything is, then you don't have to worry about that. But I never memorized where everything was. I practiced stages 7 and 8 with save states to get them down better, because I would get to stage 7 on my second full attempt on this mode. I had beaten arcade mode a few days ago, so the general gameplay was fresh in my mind. I played the game years ago as well. But stages 7 and 8 were good to practice 7. And Once I had those down well enough, then I just went through the whole game. Here I just kind of do kind of a suicidal technique of using my disposable flamethrower guy to do most of the damage, and then finishing off with the rifle guy, my main guy. Very easy. It doesn't really get hard, in my opinion, until stage 7, and then by that point you're near the end of the game, but stages 7 and 8 can be tough. It moves a lot of life. It's a lot harder than the arcade mode, and like I said, it's about twice as long. This is another character that I don't like. I mean, I don't really like the other characters. The weapon, they're basically, each character is a different weapon, basically. But I don't really like this weapon too much, at least for this playthrough. I'm sure it's probably pretty good if you upgrade it, but I didn't bother when I do that. I had watched a video of somebody going through with the laser and rifle characters, and I thought that was a good strategy, so that's pretty much what I did. But it is a high-risk strategy because, like I said, if you do lose this guy, if the main guy does die, you know, you can pretty much be fucked, you know, and have to restart the game. Unless you can survive long enough to get to, like, and save up enough medals to buy, like, level 5, and then you can revive. It's not a good situation. It's better to keep this guy alive. The laser guy also wanted to keep alive, but he's not, I don't need the laser guy, but he's useful on bosses for extra damage. And it also gives you an extra life bar so you don't have to take damage with your main guy. So it helps to have another new character. There are definitely some close calls where my life gets really low and then I have to switch out to other characters to survive. So you'll see some of that. I could have done better on a lot of these earlier parts, but, you know, once I got to stage 7, it doesn't really matter because I knew what to do. So I wasn't too worried. But see, here it was a very close call, so I used some of my bombs. I was being very stingy with bombs because my goal was to save up as many bombs as possible for the end parts, for stages 7 and beyond, and just destroy the bosses with the bombs. So see, now I'm using my disposable flamethrower guy to stay alive, since the main character is about dead. Now I'll switch to the main character and get my life back, and maybe use this guy for a little bit longer. No, I don't really need to, but I mean, since his health isn't very important, he could die and it wouldn't affect me much. Because when a character dies, you still start in the same area, you just lose that character, unless you get a revival out of it, as I said. Bulletproof vest, that's very good. I think that reduces the damage you take from those pellets. Not bombs and things like that, but... Also, I have his speed fully upgraded. That's why I gave the speed upgrade to the flamethrower guy, because he's the only other guy I have on my team right now, really. See, and if I would have went up a little bit too far, I wouldn't have been able to get those 2 items. One of them was a power-up for my gun. The POW is a power-up for the gun. And there's another thing that just says up on it. I believe that's a life bar upgrade, so those are also very good to get. It'll make your life bar longer. And it's a permanent upgrade. See, now I pause for a moment to see who needs the upgrades. He needed a... Actually, I think I needed another power upgrade for my main guy, but I just made a sloppy decision there, but it doesn't really matter. But basically, it's good to go in your menu and see who needs what upgrades and shit like that. You know? But like I said, my burner guy doesn't really need upgrades. I should have gave it to him, but yeah. It doesn't matter if you're not perfect with giving out all your upgrades. I mean, once you have a good strategy, you know, you'll know how to get the game. But I recommend using save and load states to practice stages 7 and 8 like I did. Or wherever you're having trouble, if you have trouble getting to stage 7, then practice the other stages as well. But, you know, only practice what you need. No sense in practicing things that you have down. In my case, I only needed practice really on the 7 and 8. That's where I was having some trouble. This boss is super easy. Just stand at the bottom, shoot straight up. You know, maybe dodge something like that fireball. And then just shoot him from the side and try to dodge that. I wouldn't recommend using any of your bombs. like I said, I really like the strategy of saving up a shitload of bombs. Like I had like 15 bombs near the end of the game, and it's great because the 7th boss can be very difficult. So, you know, having like, you know, using like 8 bombs on him or something like that will make him way easier. For this part, I like to ignore the scuba guys unless they're directly in front of me, the blue guys, and I just run up ahead. Because if you try to turn around and shoot behind you, they'll dodge a lot of it and they'll end up stabbing you, which does a lot of damage. Not really worth it. Now this is the laser guy. This is my second favorite character that I'll be upgrading and using. And he's used only for bosses pretty much. For the most part. You know, sometimes I may need to use another character just to survive, but for the most part he'll be used for bosses. Because he does big damage with his laser, especially when it's upgraded. So he can take down bosses quicker. You basically just buy the things that you need, but you know, I wouldn't spend a lot of money on health items. If your health is near full, I wouldn't get the smaller health items. I think it's better to save your medals and just pick up health on the road, because you'll want that money later to buy more bombs or to buy upgrades and things like that, so I wouldn't waste your money on small health items. But that was just my strategy. I didn't like buying the small health items. I just saved my money. That gave him a life up, so he got a longer health bar. And there are some hidden areas and things if you explore where you'll find more medals, you'll find a gas mask, you'll find bulletproof vests. I think I only got one of the bulletproof vests, so obviously I didn't explore everything. And I ended up getting a gas mask accidentally that I only found on my final playthrough, which was strange, but it was actually super useful because there's these gas missiles that can drain a lot of your health and they can be tough. So you'll see where I get that out a little bit later, and keep that in mind. You'll want to keep some of these locations in mind for the playthrough, because I can make it. There's especially a room on the final level that's extremely useful, and you can buy full health for like 1 medal, and other things for just 1 medal, and it's a single room. You don't want to miss that either. But you'll see that when I get there. It's quite long, as this mode takes probably about 40 minutes or so to beat. As opposed to the arcade mode takes about 18 minutes, so this is at least twice as long. Here I'm just sorting out which upgrades I want to give to who. And, mainly the laser guy needed the upgrades, because I haven't put too many upgrades in it yet. The rifle guy's pretty maxed out, I think. Another easy boss that I didn't really want to use my bombs on. You know, try to shoot the missiles down. I should have used the laser guy sooner. You see, I kind of made the mistake of using him at the very end. My normal strategy would have been to use him from the beginning of the boss fight, but I was just so used to using my main character, I just kind of forgot about him. It's not a big deal, but you know, it can make things faster if I would have done that. My health is relatively decent for everybody, and mainly my main character. The other characters are, like I said, pretty disposable. It's not like I don't really want them to die, because I can still use them to pull a little bullshit and survive a little bit longer if I need them. So, you know, I wasn't actually trying to do a no-death run. It's just kind of the result of this strategy I was using, with just focusing on 2 main characters, you know. It ended up just being a no-death run, because I was able to do well enough. And as you saw, I shot down some of those trees. Those trees have a lot of useful items, so when you see those trees, shoot down the ones you can. Not all of them are destructible, but if you shoot them, you'll see if they break. Tanks can be tough. I try to deal with them, you know, usually, well, yeah, actually, for this one, I just took the hit and ran through. It wasn't a big deal. That's what I always do on that guy. So, yeah, sometimes I'll fight him, sometimes I won't. But I figured I probably would have got hit anyway eventually, so I didn't care about taking 1 hit. I wasn't even sure if I was going to get hit, because sometimes I think I run past him without taking damage, so it wasn't a big deal. I was trying to decide who I should waste my money on, because I like saving the medals and buying more bombs and things. Laser was the only one I felt like that I should give him some health, because he's one of my main guys. I didn't care that the burner guy didn't have much health, because, you know, I can try to pick up some health on the field for him if I have, you know, extra health to donate. But, yeah. And like I said, with the tanks, I try to deal with them from a distance. There's a later part where there's like 2 tanks There's a few parts where there's like, well, here's a part with 2 tanks. Yeah, but this is not hard because, you know, you just kind of keep your distance. Try to avoid those missiles, you know. The pellets, you don't want to get hit by the pellets, but they do very little damage compared to the missiles. Especially by now, you should have the bulletproof vest for this guy, so the pellets shouldn't be a huge problem if you get hit by a few. But I mean, it's not good to get hit by them, but definitely, you know, go for getting hit by one of those bullets before you get hit by a missile, because missiles will hurt you really bad. Here's where I kind of waste the Jeep just to destroy trees. That's pretty much what I do with it. Because I don't really need the Jeep. I mean, I can go through here and just run everybody down on foot. So the Jeep is not very valuable, and the Jeep is powerful enough to take these trees down faster. So, but see, some of them don't break, so keep that in mind. But it is worth taking the time to destroy a lot of these trees because they have useful. You can get a lot of metals and some other useful things that'll help you out later. The metals will definitely help you out later. Here it's a little dangerous because I got the trees on the bottom of the screen here, and see now you can't see exactly what's coming out of them. So you got to be careful not to get blown up by that dynamite. See, like that, you don't want to get blown up by the dynamite because you can't really see what's coming out of the tree too well. So if you have them like that, just be wary that there's dynamite in at least 2 of them at the bottom in that area. See here by now, because I went through all those trees and everything, I had 29 metals, which is a lot. And you know that's going to allow me to stock up on bombs later and you know keep my health, you know, at a decent rate. Now you see that bottled water that costs $15 or 15 metals? That actually revives the dead player. I never ended up using that because I didn't have any deaths, but that is an option, but like I said, it's expensive at 15 metals. I usually don't have 15 metals available because I pretty much spend money on most of the shops to heal up or whatever, so I mean, I don't recommend relying on that, but you know, it could be a viable strategy if it gets you dealing with that. I mean, that's why I don't know if I would necessarily reset the game if I was far and I lost my main character. I might try to get a revival. Here I used some bombs because I just wanted to, I think I used 1 bomb because I just wanted to get rid of the tanks. Because it's a dangerous area because you can't shoot them from far away. When you're close up like that, the tanks are very dangerous. So for that, I would recommend using a bomb. You know, if you can fight them from a distance, then I would not recommend using a bomb. For this part, all you have to do is stand on the right and shoot to the left. That's it. I've never had an enemy hit me when doing this, so you don't have to go in the middle and try to dodge all that shit. And now here's the actual boss, which is pretty easy. Just keep fire on these guys and, you know, try to shoot the missiles down and avoid them. And, you know, when I start to feel like I'm getting, you know, taking too much damage, I'll throw a bomb in. But I really try to minimize my bomb usage because my strategy here is to save up as many as possible for the 7th and 8th stages where they can, you know, be very useful. Especially mainly the 7th stage boss is really the part where I wanted to have a lot of bombs. And I actually ended up not using them for a while and trying to fight the thing without them, but I did end up using them a lot. It's a very hard boss. Usually, even in practice, I would lose one of my characters while fighting it. So it's not easy. But you can get decent enough at it if you practice it a lot. I didn't spend a ton of time practicing stages 7 and 8, but I did. I put enough time into where I was confident enough to beat the game. That's all I was going for. And I ended up doing it without dying, so that was good. I may even try hard mode next while the game is still fresh in my mind. But usually these modes are not, you know, usually in these old games, the hard mode is not much harder than normal in a lot of these Genesis games. It was a common thing with a lot of older games. They didn't really have these extreme modes. You know, a few games that, like Metal Storm for the NES has an extreme mode called Expert, which was brutal to beat. But, you know, most games of this time period did not have, like, extreme modes. They had modes that were slightly harder than normal. And if you already knew normal, then you had a good chance of beating hard without much practice. But I still wouldn't mind playing through it for fun. I think here I was just fucking around. I gave Burner some shit, even though I don't really use them. But I had extra money. I mean, if you save up too much money, eventually you won't be able to spend it all, so you might as well spend some of it. But I still saved 17 metals, so I still had a lot left. next door. Whenever there's missiles like this, it's good to stay at a distance, shoot straight up, and take out the missiles and damage the truck at the same time, or whatever the enemy is that's shooting the missiles. There's a few large enemies that do that kind of shit. Tanks and various other things. Now you see that green gas that comes out, stay away from that. That'll drain your health really fast. So that can be hard, but at some point I actually got a gas mask. Which you'll see, you'll probably see me get that soon. I just switched to the flame guy so I could get some of those upgrades for him, even though I'm not really going to be using them much. I still put some upgrades into them. Yeah, that green gas is very dangerous. You see, that took out a decent chunk of my health. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen a Genesis game do this, where they had the original arcade port. Though it's only one player, not two players, like I believe the arcade is, but the original arcade port, and then they have an all-new original mode that's twice as long with new music, new enemies, and weapons, bosses, etc. Very cool. And a new system with a store and a survival type. It's a survival type of mode. So it's an interesting style. Very cool that they put the extra effort into it. Definitely a classic Genesis game. One of the best of the black box original, like old Genesis games that were mostly like just standard arcade ports, but this one went a little bit farther. I also highly recommend Bloody Wolf for the TurboGrafx 16 if you like this style, overhead, on foot kind of shooters. See, for this guy, I bring out the laser guy, and I pretty much mostly just use lasers. I mean, I eat some damage because I never really practiced this guy. I mean, as you see, I didn't really have to practice this guy. It's easy enough to just go in there and aggressively gun him down with the lasers. But the laser guy really only comes out on some bosses, you know, to do extra damage. It's mainly the rifle guy I use. Now this is where the game starts to get difficult. It wasn't too challenging up until this part for me, but this is where it helped to practice these levels separate with save and load. So I would recommend practicing stages 7 and 8 as I mentioned. It'll be worth the time in the end, because then you'll have to redo all the rest of the game every time you die. It's better to know what's coming up and to familiarize yourself with the levels. Just play through them a few times or something like that, you know, just to get a general feel. You don't have to go crazy with the practice. I didn't go crazy with it, but just got a general idea. Now here I got the gas mask. If I would have missed that, this level would have been a lot harder. And I only got that on this playthrough, so I didn't even know about that. But what it does is it allows you not to take any damage from that green mist that comes out of those missiles. And that can really drain your health. So I can just stand inside that green mist. I didn't know that right away when I got it. I didn't realize it would make me completely immune to that. I thought maybe it would reduce the damage I took from that green mist. But it actually makes you completely invincible to it. Though I don't think you can get hit by the missile itself, obviously, but you can stand inside the green mist that it releases. Saying just stand here and you know, shoot the missiles directly makes it a lot easier. And when you have to, if guys are getting too close, gun them down as well. You'll get a feel for that. That's why it's good to practice the levels a little bit. So now here I have 29 medals. I have a lot, so I replenish my health. And I may replenish a few guys' health. I don't remember. Yeah, I probably got his health back. Yeah, I got my two main characters back to full health, so you know, that's hugely useful. And as you see, I have 15 bombs already by this point saved up, which is a really easy way to make it a lot easier. You know, 15 bombs is a lot of fucking bombs. And all you have to do is play, you know, somewhat decently on the bosses, and you can save up a lot of bombs. And, you know, not waste them on regular encounters, unless you're in a bad situation. Like when I was with those two tanks, and I had no room to move, you know, that was a situation where a bomb is worth using. But I wouldn't just use them haphazardly and recklessly, because then you'll start draining them if you do that. Better to save them up. I mean, this blue rifle guy, he has such a good spread where he has a good range that he takes out guys. So, I mean, it's a wide shot, so you can really just run through it. And if you're careful, you can just gun everybody down. Yeah. He's definitely, I think he's the best character he uses. He also seems to have the most speed, so once you get his speed fully upgraded, he moves very fast. See, I can just stand in that green mist, and it doesn't hurt me now. Now, there was a bulletproof vest I could have gotten for one of my other characters, but I didn't need it anyway. But I would have gotten it if I knew how to get it, but I went the wrong way. I miss all kinds of shit. I think you can get, like, bulletproof vest for everybody, pretty much, but I just, I don't really know where they're at. I just didn't do a ton of exploring. I don't really like exploring that much. I was just get, good enough to beat the game. That's it. You can definitely spend more time if you go to different areas and stuff. See, I missed that box down there. It doesn't let you scroll the screen back down. So that's why you got to move the screen carefully, or otherwise you will miss items. But you get to a point where you don't really need the items that much anyway. So. Depending how well you do. But I mean, I pretty much had everybody at full health. And all the upgrades I needed at this point. There is a way to get those items and then go to the right and get some other items, I think. But I already went up too far, so I missed those too. But, not like I said, it doesn't really matter that much. For this part, you mainly want to stay in this upper corner and shoot diagonally so that you can take out those guns. And occasionally divert from that to take out some of the assholes on the sides. But for the mainly you want to stay in that top corner and shoot diagonally. And then you won't get hit by the missiles. As long as you're using this guy, because he has that wide spread shot, that'll make sure it catches all the missiles. So, by this point I don't have many medals. So I can't buy anything. But I didn't really need anything anyway at that point. I was stocked up. For this part, it wasn't letting me move up because I had to take out 2 rows of those boxes to move up. Even though it looks like you can squeeze through the gap, it won't allow you to do that. This again is very easy because I don't have to worry about that green mist at all. So these guys are a joke now. But they can be a pain in the ass. Now soon is coming the hardest boss in the game. This guy can be tough. But I had 15 bombs and I was, heavily stocked up. So yeah, I switched to the laser guy, and I don't think I did too well on this boss initially, but at least I didn't die. But the idea is to use the lasers to take out the guns on the ship that are shooting out those little pellets. Take those out first with some diagonal shots or head-on shots, and then try to take these things out. Once the missiles are launched, you can easily dodge them. I was just very sloppy. Once you see them go up in the air, you just move to the side. I mean, once you practice the timing, it's very easy, but I got sloppy. But like I said, it didn't really matter in the end. Because soon I'm going to bring out the rifle guy, and I just bring out this guy because I haven't used him yet, so I figured I'd try to get some extra damage in. But he wasn't doing too well with this, so I think I switched back to the rifle guy. And I was playing this boss much worse than I was in practice. So like I said, when you get nervous and twitchy, the practice can get kind of bad. So that's why it's important to practice well and get things down to muscle memory so there's not a lot of effort goes into trying to execute. It just becomes like a normal thing. But it was good enough. I mean, I still have 8 bombs left, which I'll be saving up for the final boss, which is basically just a missile that tries to escape. And I'm not sure what happens if you let the missile escape. I never let it escape. I don't know if you lose. You may automatically lose, but I don't know. For this part, just take it slow and stay at the bottom and try to gun these things down. I should have moved diagonally to shoot one missile on the right inside, but I was sloppy. I didn't think it would hit me. I thought the spread was wide enough. But this part can be tricky, as you see. See how my life got pretty low at this point. And it could have easily ended up being a death, and that could have ended the game pretty much at that point. You don't really want to fuck up 30 minutes in, because then you have to play the whole game over. But I made it to the store, and then I think I may have been able to buy some health. I don't remember. No, maybe not. So yeah, I may have switched to another character just to survive for a while. I think that's what I had to end up doing. So you'll see me use one of the other characters now, maybe the burner guy. Yeah, I think I used Barner. But the problem with Barner was I didn't upgrade his speed enough, so crossing these tracks was extremely dangerous. He moves like super fucking slow. So you see I was getting nailed by those carts, which is really bad. So I think I ended up switching. I switched him out. And see, now a lot of my characters do not have good health, so we'll see how I bring everything back from the dead. They do end up giving you a decent amount of items and shit like that, so I am able to survive by what I can pick up in the areas. I use the laser for this part because it kills the planes faster. It's the most powerful shot that I have. So killing the planes is worthwhile because they will shoot you when you try to cross them, and that can be very dangerous. Here I use the homing guy, which I never use, and unlock some health over here, and then I get some health from the rifle guy. Now he has enough health to where I can safely use him. So I just use him, and I just play this part very carefully. Much more carefully than I played it when I was practicing. I just take out each plane. It makes things a lot safer. You just got to be aware of any assets that may come below the screen. Or anywhere, really. But the ones below the screen are the most dangerous because they can shoot you a lot quicker. Probably the longest level, but I think the 7th level for me was maybe harder. Well, I'm not sure. You know. What was harder about the 7th level was mostly this level's probably harder, but the 7th level was harder in some ways because of the boss, which is, the boss can be very annoying. But since I had so many bombs, it was pretty easy. So, depending what strategy you use, if you accumulate a lot of bombs, a lot easier for the boss. I think here I was just shaking out my hands because they went numb. So, or maybe I was making a decision on what to use for this part. That's possible. There was a few times when I paused to shake out my hands, and I tried to edit those times out because, my hands fall asleep and I got to shake them out. But, I may have been trying to decide because you don't want to choose the wrong guy and end up getting you guys killed. I think I wasn't able to pick up that item on the bottom of the screen because, if you go too far up, you can't get the items. So if I knew that was there, I could have, gotten it. Same type of strategy here, basically just shoot straight up at it and try to stay out of range of the pellets if you can. But after this part, you end up picking up a lot of health. So it gets a lot easier once you get to this point. The rest of the game is not that hard. Watch out for those dynamites, obviously. But here's like a secret room. So you go in that door, and now you have items that only cost 1 metal. So you can pretty much get all your health back up, or get a lot of health back. And you can get some upgrades you may have missed, the health upgrade, the weapon upgrade. And it actually only costs 1 metal to revive somebody. If you have somebody who died, you can revive them for 1 metal. And after this part, there's even a lot more health packs that you get. So, like I said, the rest of this game is pretty easy now at this point. So if you got this far, then you'll probably beat it. trying to make some decisions if I needed any other of this shit. But it's the only place in the game I found where items only cost 1 medal, so it's pretty much a free area to get your shit back. So definitely don't miss that when you play the game. Make sure you find, if you're going to find one area in the game, make sure you find that. I just switched to the laser guy so I can get some life back. The rifle works best in this area because there's a lot of guys that are invisible. And see, the laser is so narrow it won't hit a lot of them, so it's better to use the rifle. You'll see I got hit because I was using the laser guy to try to get that item. And I got hit immediately, so it's definitely better to stick with this guy. He has more coverage than anybody else. There's also a full health right here, so I think I give it to my laser guy, since even though he doesn't need all the health, but he's one of the main guys. The other guys are completely disposable for me on this side. Here, just go to the right and move up a little bit so that you can shoot the door while you're shooting the enemies, and you'll make that part super easy. You'll kill both enemies and the door at the same time. For this, you just inch up slightly until the laser comes right in front of you. And then as soon as it goes away, you move up. The laser doesn't come out unless you're like right below where it's about to come out, so you have to inch up the screen. So that's definitely something you would want to be familiar with and practice when you play the weapon. Luckily, the lasers are not one-hit kills in this mode, as they are in arcade mode. So it won't kill you in one hit, but it does do a lot of damage. So you don't want to get hit by that. Same strategy here with staying up a little bit and just moving left and gunning down the door and the enemy at the same time, pretty much. Unless enemies are already out, then you want to clean them up, but pretty much just advance and shoot the door and the enemy at the same time. Now this is pretty much near the end of the level. You'll be dealing with some lasers here, but for the most part you want to wait for them to come out and then just move up on the platform. It seems strange sometimes that they come out at weird times, so sometimes I get hit by it. But it shouldn't be a big deal. You get all your health back here. You see a shitload of health items. So you can pretty much get everybody back to health. See, I had everybody pretty much at full health by this point, which I won't need, but it was just, you can do it. It doesn't hurt. For this part, you just wait for the missiles to come out and then just move to the left or right. It's very easy to dodge. Similar thing that you do on that ship that I fucked up on the 7th boss. It's pretty much how you dodge that as well. But you don't really have to worry about it too much if you have a lot of bombs. Now I just shoot up at it and use all my bombs, and that's pretty much game over. If you don't have all your bombs, it's still very easy to run it down. You may have to use your laser guy to shoot it down to get more damage. I never had the thing escape, so I don't know what happens if it gets away. You may lose the game, I'm not sure. Or maybe you just get a bad ending. But either way, that's the tutorial. I hope it helped out. It can be a tricky mode. It's definitely not easy. It's a lot harder than the arcade mode, so it can take some practice on those final 2 levels. definitely stay tuned for more video tutorials and commentary videos. As well as I have a lot of footage of Far Cry 5 and Shadow of War on the Xbox One X that I still have to edit. But there's a lot of gameplay footage there that I'm posting up soon. It's just been stockpiling, so I have to get around to editing it.